Let me go ahead and all right. So for some reason, you're not embroidering to just watching. You ladies are welcome to do whatever you want. Our filming arm is like not working. So it is dropping and I just ordered another one. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to kind of have to hold it. So strange how that's going on.
Where do you want to tape it though? I don't know. That doesn't.
I don't even know.
Tape it.
I don't even know. We will do our best, ladies. This meeting is being recorded. Could you just hit got it on it? So how many of you are stitching? I see a lot of you set up in your sewing room. So I know a lot of you are stitching. Hi, Miss Gail. Gail, did you get the design? Did you need it? You got it.
You have the design?
I hope so. This is everything. I put all my stuff together this morning.
Maybe I could just go get the other tripod. At least you wouldn't have.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me make sure my design is on here. I grabbed all this stuff this morning as we were getting ready. There it is. So I got it.
Hey, Jeannie, can I ask you a quick question? Because I can't find my kit. Are we going to use sticky back tear away or just tear away?
We are using, hang on just a second. That is a really good question. Ladies, I'm usually more organized than this. We are, Michelle's grabbing me another filming arm. We're going to see if we can go ahead and put this on another filming arm. Hang on, because it's just tearaway. It's just regular tearaway, not even fancy tearaway. Hang on just a second as my filming arm. Let me grab the other arm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I'm going to see if I can get this set up for Miss Jeannie so that she can actually not have to work quite so hard. How's everybody's morning?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. All right. Hopefully I'm gonna.
Michelle, I still love the card that you taught us how to make the other day.
Uh-huh.
My husband even smiled at it, so I guess that's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
Okay. I am gonna. I think what I did was I hit the volume here. Oh, yeah, that's why I can't
That
hear.
is a real plus, having a husband smile.
Yep. We always like it when they like something we've done, right?
Right.
All right. Let's see. Can you all see the machine now?
I can see the screen of it.
Okay. How about now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hopefully that. All right. That should work for her. Before there were filming arms, there were tripods. Not quite as flexible, but they work well. Okay. All right. Oh, these are cute. Oh, there's the glitter nose reindeer. I'm not sure what size. What size are you guys doing? The small or the medium?
Medium.
Okay. Okay. We be ready. We be rocking and rolling, I think. So we have the cutest fuzzy ball in the store today. She's going to be visiting for the morning anyway, till the early afternoon. And then we have Momo as well. And I don't know who this puppy belongs to, but I'm going to guess that Momo thinks it's his puppy because he is very, very, very protective of the puppy. But that sure is, she sure is cute. I love baby animals. I mean, like really, who doesn't love a great baby animal, right?
She is cute. I saw her on the live stream earlier.
Sorry about this, but I'm trying to tighten this a little bit on the bottom here. I'm just gonna, so you don't need Dramamine, I'm just gonna, there we go. All right, one more thing here. Where's a screwdriver? All right, this should work. Okay. We can see the machine okay. All right, Jeannie. Yeah, just to move it, all you have to do is loosen this and then you have total moving.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Just leave this tight unless you need to flip it down, but they said they can see the whole machine now.
Okay, perfect. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Have fun, ladies. All right. Sorry about that. Like I said, I ordered a new filming arm, so we should be good to go. All right. How many of you have never done a Zoom class before? Is there anyone on here that hasn't done a Zoom? Oh, okay. All right. And BMC, who's BMC? What's your name?
Brenda.
Oh, Brenda. All right, Brenda. So this is what I'm going to be seeing. Let me bring this over here. And I wonder if I can Rolo. You've done Zoom. All right. I don't know how to get this to. So this is what I'm going to have on my screen so I can see all of you. And I know some of you are blocked out, which is totally fine. I'm okay with that. So you're going to have some things down here that you can use. Number one, this is your mute and unmute over here. So I am going to mute everybody during the class because you know what happens? Husbands walk in the room, they just start talking to you and somebody puts their TV on and stuff happens. So I will go ahead and mute you all. I have something just down here where it's just participants. I can mute you all.
Jeannie, we can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I didn't know I got muted. Okay, can you hear me now? I was talking to you like, okay. So if you haven't done a class before, this is the screen that I'm going to share. This is the screen you're focused on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spotlight it right now. And so no matter what happens, this is going to stay big. You have things down here. I'm going to get rid of that for right now. Or I'll just leave it because it's going to get confusing if I do. On the bottom of your screen, if you're on a computer, you're going to have all of these things right here. I know that's swirling it for you. Let me unspotlight that for just a second. Unspotlight. I don't even know how to get it unspotlighted. I'll spotlight me for a minute. That's spotlight. There, now it's not as stroby. You're going to have options right here. So they're periodically, I'm going to say, are we all together? Give me a thumbs up. And you can physically just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Or you have reactions down here on the bottom. You can click that and you can give me a thumbs up, a cry face if you're like falling behind and you need help, hearts. You can go, oh, it's like a party, or you can raise your hand if you have a question. I'm better because sometimes I get focused on the machine and what it's doing here. I'll be better if you unmute, and there's a mute and an unmute here in the bottom left corner, and ask your questions and then mute yourself again. I did mute everybody, so you're muted and I can't hear you right now. Your other option is on a computer, you can hit the space bar, hold it down, ask your question, and then let it go and it'll mute you again. Any questions about that, ladies? I'm gonna put you into gallery view so I can see you all. That's what I'm gonna see. So this is remove spotlight view. I'm gonna be seeing this, kind of like the Brady Bunch screen. So let's go back over here. I'm working with a tripod now, so it's a little bit more challenging. And let me see if I can zoom back out. And this is what we're gonna start with. And I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Let me close out that one. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to be working in a 6x10 hoop. When I cut kits, they're cut for the instructions that are sent with Kimberbell. There we go. And we're going to go over here. And here's my handy dandy little box with everything we're going to need today. And I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. You should have stabilizer that's cut for your 6x10. If you don't have a 6x10, I think there's instructions to do this in the 5x7, and they also have the 5x7 design too. You could do it in the 5x7. The 5x7. It's just going to be a little bit smaller. That's all. You could also do this in 8x12. Your kit is cut for the 6x10. So I want you to grab your kit, grab your little piece of stabilizer, and we're going to go ahead and hoop up. This is a 6x10 hoop. If you don't have it, it's on the Christmas list. So I feel like, especially if you love Kimberbell, I feel like you should get the 6x10 hoop just because they use it so often for their projects. So go ahead and open up your stabilizer. When you hoop, you want the little arrows to be on the top. And I like to push it in on the top and then kind of walk my hands down to the bottom. Once I get it in, I'll usually hand tighten, and then I will grab my hoop tightener. And I love this because it has got the little screwdriver in there. And I'll just give it a little turn where it's comfortable. Do not be cranking it down as tight as you can make it. You can break your hoop. If you ever break this, your dealer should be able to fix it for you. If they don't do that kind of thing, because I don't know if all dealers do that, you can always send it to us and we'll fix it for you too. Okay? All right, let's look at our instructions. So what they want you to do is they want you to get your glitter piece, and let's peel off the protective coating. When I first started doing Kimberbell, I didn't even know you had to take that off, and I just would stitch with it on there. Gotten a little more savvy. I feel like it's easiest to like bend back one of those corners and then go ahead and separate it. So go ahead and peel that back. So that's ready to go. And then we are going to go ahead, turn on your iron, and we're going to fold your tote in half lengthwise. You know, I think when I did this, I went ahead and I just finger pressed everything. But it really depends on your tote. I guess if you're using the, I'm watching off and on today as well. No problem. You can do whatever you want. We're easy peasy here. I'm also going to send you the recording afterwards. So go ahead and turn your iron on. We're going to go ahead and press it just like this. I was doing kits just a minute ago and I grabbed my mat and put it in the other room. Let me go and grab it. I press on a wool pressing mat. Okay. This is what I like to press on. What you should never do is don't press on your wool mat on your cutting mat, because you can warp it. And I've warped mine. Mine at home is totally warped. So I'm going to put it over here. And we just want to put a little press in there just so we can use that as our line for placement. Let's go ahead and let Shelly in. Good morning, Shelly. Okay, so you're going to fold your tote in half lengthwise, right sides together, and you're going to line the handles and press well. So we're going to line the handles right here. Those should go up. This is hot dog. It's long and skinny. I'm going to grab this, open it up. We're going long and skinny this way, and we're lining up these handles. And it said right sides together. And you guys might have the gray and white buffalo check. You might have the dark chambray. I feel like it's so sad because I love the black and white buffalo check. And for some reason, they always discontinue my favorite stuff. And if you don't want to iron, so we're lining up our handles right here. You can go ahead and finger press too. I think when I did the video, I just finger pressed it. Okay, handles are lined up. I'm just gonna go get a little press right here. And then we're going to measure down. Okay, now it says measure down 6 inches from the top of the tote. Mark this spot with a straight pin. I just fold it over. So you can go ahead and mark with a straight pin if you want. I like to use, and I don't know where they put them, but a lot of times I'll use like my hot ruler or something like that, but we're going 6 inches down from the top. I'm just gonna fold it over and we can just put a crease in there. I don't think you really have to put a pin in and then a crease. So here is, this is my big bad boy. I brought this from home because I love it so much. You know, my filming arm here isn't working. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Let me just move it. We'll just put this in the trash can. Sorry. Okay, let's get this. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Isn't she sweet? All right, I can go 6 inches down this way. I'm just gonna fold it over until this is on my 6-inch mark. You can put a pin in if you want, but I'm just
Janet,
gonna hold
what
it.
size is that ruler?
This one is the 12.5 by 24.5. Are you loving it? Did you just go, oh my God, I have to have, I love this ruler because a lot of times we're cutting like fat 16ths and that's going to be 9 inches, which is too big for my regular 6.5 by 24-inch ruler. So I'm just bringing this down to my 6-inch mark here. I'm just going to slide it out and I'm going to give this a little press and I'm going to line up this side right here. Let's go ahead and give this a little press. And remember, I'm doing all creative grid rulers or any ruler that you want, whether it's a quilting ruler, a ruler for your long arm, all 25% off. So go online. You can do that a write-on at your, you can do it as a write-on on your Christmas list. All right, let me take a breath because I'm like amped up right now. All right, there we go. Keep the center crease aligned, fold the tote down at the pinned point and press well along the fold. Now we're going to go ahead and hoop the tote and the stabilizer aligning fold lines. So I'm going to go ahead. You know what? Sorry about that, guys. Let me put this back on here. Hi, buddy. If you hear heavy breathing, it's not me. It's the dog. I'm almost roaming the store. We're going to lay this down on top, and this is how we're going to do it. Let me put this back over here. Let's tidy up a bit. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and let's put this down, and you want your handle to go to the right. So just keep that in mind. If you accidentally hooped and your handle went the other way, we would just be swinging our design, but I don't want you to get confused today. So you have crease marks in here, and we can line those up with the centering marks on your hoop. So you have a centering mark here and you have them here and here. So if I'm ever doing this, what I like to do is number one, you could use double-sided basting tape, which is the easiest thing to do, or else we're gonna just lay this down. I'm gonna get my crease mark here, here, get that lined up, and down here. All right. And I'm just gonna pinch it and then load it. Let me get my sleeves up. I'm just gonna pinch this way. Gotta have this ready to go too. pull in. I'm just pinching. I'm gonna load it over here. Okay, I've got it. Oh, you know what? I've got to open this up a little bit. Unless you don't want the hoop in there, your strap. Let's see, am I in there? Sorry, ladies. I know I'm making this look especially hard. I think in the video, did I use the double-sided basting tape? Let me get this back in here. I'm going to pinch it and then I'm going to load it.
I think you did do it in your video.
I used the double-sided basting tape. Okay, this is a perfect example why double-sided basting tape is great for this. So we use this is Nancy Zeman. Could you spray the stick? Yes, Lynn, that's a great idea. So Lynn said, go ahead and spray it to the back. I love using double-sided basting tape. Do not use like Scotch tape, double-sided Scotch tape or anything like that. It does not come off the hoop very well. So if you just get the Nancy Zeman, and she makes the best stuff. And the first time I ever used it was I used it for the Edge to Edge class that I took with Christine Connors, who teaches who wrote the book. And not all double-sided basting tape is created equal. So I'm actually going to stick it on here. And did you see Lynn said, Lynn, did you go ahead and spray? So I like to push it down and then gently pull back, and it should leave the basting tape on there. There we go. I push it down and then I pull it back so it's like sticky. And then the hoop doesn't move as you're putting it down. Okay, make sure you have your top, going to the top. I'm gonna lay it down. Make sure this is smoothed out too. I'm gonna push it down where the tape is. And then it doesn't move. Now we can just go ahead and hoop, and it's going to be so much easier. If you don't have double-sided basting tape, I think it's on the Christmas list. If not, and then that was a great idea. What Lynn said, you could spray it too, but I should be good now. Nothing moves around, and I can just drop it in, and I don't have to worry about all that shifting. All right, and we're in. So that was just a demo on why you would want to use double-sided basting tape for something like this. The other thing you could do, like Irene was talking about, is you could use stick tearaway. And stick tearaway would make it really easy too, because you could just put it in. Now we are ready. Sorry about that, lady. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. Hand tighten, and then I like to take my hoop screwdriver and I like to tighten it just a little bit more. Again, you don't crank it down because you can break this stuff. Just that much. Okay, half a turn. We are ready. Are we all hooped up and ready to go? Sure. Shelly, how are you doing? You good? I'm going to take this over to the machine. Let's go ahead and put our hoop on. Mine still has the sewing foot on. This is another reason why I love this screwdriver. It's actually made for this screw. I'm just going to put it on here. Go ahead and take it off. A lot easier than a regular screwdriver that slides on and off. You can get your whole hand on there. You should always hand tighten and then tighten a little bit more with your screwdriver. I don't know if you've ever been working and all of a sudden your embroidery foot slides off and you're not expecting it. And then next thing you're breaking needles and making our blood pressure rise. All right. We are ready to go. Let's bring up our design. All right. Looks like I already brought it up. In case you didn't bring it up already, you're going to go embroidery. I'm going to go to my pocket and your USB. Some of you just have a USB sign that you're going to, and some of you are on other machines. We're going to put this in. You have two choices. You have a small and a medium. The medium size is made for the 5x7s. I mean, the 6x10. So go ahead and touch that. Set. I always like to choose my hoop size. I think that's a good habit for you guys to get into. To do that, you're going to go to your settings button. And right now I'm set to a 7x14. I'm going to go ahead and choose my 6x10. I know it says 6 1/4, but that's your 6x10. So go ahead and touch that. And you can see exactly how much room we have. So if you wanted to make it a little bit bigger, you could make it bigger. You have your outline, you know, as far as you can make it, how big you can make it. I'm just going to leave it just like that. I want you to look at your hooping right now. Your strap should be to the right. If you accidentally put your strap to the left, that's fine. But you're going to take your design and you're going to rotate it so that it's 180. So your antlers would be that direction. So just look, last thing you want to do is to do all this stitching and then take it out of the hoop and go, oh, my design's upside down. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but I have. All right. If you're good, we're going to go ahead and touch embroidery. And the first thing that it wants to do is it wants to stitch out the J. This design is from Kimberbell 2019. So they've improved things like on the designs now, it'll tell you like what color to use. This one doesn't have a recommendation, but it's going to say stitch the J placement line. Color's not going to really make a difference right now, but the letters we're stitching are going to be red. I'm going to go ahead and put a red in there. Sometimes I'll look ahead and I'll see where my first color is going to make a difference. This looks like applique. This is going to be applique too. So your color is not going to make a difference for any of that until we do our decorative stitching, which is going to happen. All of this is just applique. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put in a red for right now. You should have just a regular bobbin. I didn't even check mine. Look at, I have purple, which wouldn't make a difference for this really. I use Filtech pre-wound bobbins where they're on sale right now. I buy it by the box and the box is, I want to say $46.99 and they're 25% off. So it's a good time to stock up. We went through probably like 20 boxes. So I have a whole nother order coming in. I brought 2 reds with me. You're going to be using 2 reds for this. So I brought in, I know it's really subtle, but this is a little bit of a darker red tone. So I'm going to use this one first. You don't have to use 2 different reds, but it's going to have you do one red and then it's going to have you do another red. All right. Go ahead and thread up your machine. And I'm going to hit start. This is the placement line for the J. While it's doing that, I'm going to grab my applique pieces. They're right here. What color reds are you using? One of the reds, like the one up here, that's called Wildflower, and that is from that's a glide thread from one of my Kimberbell kits. The other red here is a Reingold one. And honestly, I just have the number. I have no idea what the actual red, but I would go just a red and then one that's just a shade darker is what they recommend. Here is my dime spray tent. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these 2 in for now. So I don't spray at my machine. I don't tape. I'm a sprayer if I can do it. And the spray I use, you ladies are all becoming spray addicts because I'm shipping You're just going to do a little bit of spray. This is KK Ganol, the economy line. I've never bought the regular one. It's way more expensive, and I feel like I get great stick with this one. So this is what I use. All right. We are going to put down the first fabric it wants you to put down is going to be the red polka dot. So we're going to put that down first. And mine are sprayed and just sitting in my spray tent. Those are on the Christmas list too. The spray tents are $25 and they're on sale for 25% off. Go ahead and do your tack down. Oh, Karen, I saw you wrote a note, but hang on, let me open up my chat window. Do you need to add interfacing? Remember, this is from 2019 and they didn't have you add interfacing to this. If you are, and when we talk about interfacing, usually we're talking about fusible woven, so SF 101. You could, and especially if, so these white polka dots, especially with the white polka dots, when you use SF 101, it is going to make sure there's no shadowing. So you're not going to see color behind here. And it's also going to give it a little more body and support. So it's up to you. I didn't include it. It wasn't in the supply list. If this was a design from 2022, I bet they would have you add the fusible woven to the back of this. Good question, Miss Karen. So we are just going to go ahead and we're going to trim this right now. So stitch the jade tack down line. We just did that. Now we're going to trim the fabric close to this stitch line. And I'm going to be using just my double curved right here. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and trim close. This, I think, doesn't have a, it does have a satin stitch. I like to hold my fabric up and just go ahead and trim. When I'm just doing something that's just a piece of fabric, these are my favorite, just my snips. Yeah. Yeah, that's from last year. Did somebody not get it?
Yeah, Lynn, I didn't read the whole email. I just sent her the designs for class and she said she didn't get those. So
well, let me check the purchases too. Like, go ahead and is it, and does she need the pillow?
Lynn,
Oh, I sent it. Lynn,
sent all the directions and everything, but not the design.
I resent it this morning, Lynn. You should have it. I got that email. You said you didn't get the PES, so I resent. So check have you checked your email from this morning? Let me know. I want you don't have to, but I mean, these are just, you're just pinching these together. So it doesn't take a whole lot of sewing skill. If you can learn to, you don't have to do this, but if you can learn to cut with both hands, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm switching them from my left hand to my right hand. If you could learn how to do that, it saves a ton. You sent the, oh, okay. After the class, I'll do that. Just send me a little email and I'll check that. So it's a sparkle one. Okay. I thought I did. Was that this morning? I thought I did Peppermint Avenue. I'll check and I will redo. All right. We good, ladies? Are we ready for the next letter? So we are going to go on to, now we're going to do the placement for the Y. I'm just leaving that same red in here. I'm not worried about it. So let's go ahead and do the placement for the Y. And your fabric should be already sprayed and ready to lay down. Michelle, how are you? Are you okay? All right. Brenda, you doing okay? Lila, you look really comfortable. You're making me want to take a nap with a puppy. Okay, mine's already sprayed. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And you don't want it gummy sprayed. You just want it so it's just going to kind of stay in place. Just go ahead and lay that down. Good morning, Shelly. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Miss Shannon. Miss Ann, are you stitching this or you're always working on something? Okay, let me see if I can lower this a little bit. Let me see. Here we
I'm
go.
putting mine on a towel.
Ah, you're doing yours on a towel. Yeah, ladies, you are not married
Then I think
to, what?
I'm gonna do an apron.
Oh yeah, that'll be super cute too. Go ahead and trim this out now.
I was thinking about putting it on a bib for a friend that's having a baby.
That would be super cute. Okay, can go ahead and trim this. I mean, you could do anything with it, right? It's like so adorable. This is when a pair of double curved would be really good when I'm close to that, or just switch hands. And I don't know, I was telling somebody in like another live feed, I don't know if it's so easy for me to switch back and forth between my two hands because my dominant hand, I'm dominantly a right-hander. I just cut with my left hand. That's what I normally cut with. I've just started cutting with my right hand, maybe in the past like couple of years. And I think it's because I didn't feel like sliding off my hoop and like turning my hoop around. This allows me to just cut with both hands. All right. Next thing you're going to do is the placement for the reindeer. So let's go ahead, and I would switch to a tan, and because the reindeer is it is not a satin stitch. So you might see some of those, colors. Actually, this is just the placement, so I guess it doesn't make a difference. But when we do the tack down, you want to do this color because anytime it's not a satin stitch, it's that decorative stitch that Kimberbell likes. That's like the look like little starish design. Some of the threads sometimes show through. Irene, so nice that you could join us. No fires right now. This is the color that we're putting down next. Give it a little shot of spray. We're going to lay this down. Tack it down and then trim it out. We are all the way on step number. We're not on page 3 anymore. We are doing this step right here. This is our tack down. Then we're going to trim it. And then we're going to do the nose placement line. All right, I'm going to pull this back just a little bit. And let's trim it out. I've been told I'm a fast trimmer. Where are we at right now? How many of you are right with me? Give me a thumbs up. Let's see. Anyone a little bit behind me? Lynn, Lila, you can be wherever you want to be, right? Okay, little bit behind me. I'll take my time and trim this one. Part of the reason we got Poppy too is when Momo's in the store with another dog, he kind of relaxes and his energy goes towards the other dog. So we're hoping that he'll become a better store dog, which I haven't heard him bark at all today. So I think it might be working a little bit. Make a puppy scarf for the puppy wouldn't that be cute? Yeah. Okay, there's your little reindeer. Go ahead and just trim him out. Gonna slide it back on. And then we're ready to do the nose. Miss Gail, how are you today? You good? Awesome. All right, I'm gonna hit start. It's gonna do the placement for the glitter. I always shoot my glitter with a little bit of spray too. I'm gonna put him in my spray tent. I can't help myself. I just can't. I'm just going to put it down. So I'm using this one. We're going to trim right to this stitch too. So I'm going to put it right in the corner. So I have a whole bunch more that I can use. Oh, look at this one's a satin stitch. I didn't change mine out to red. I just left that in there. And satin stitch is fine. It'll cover that whole thing up. The only one you really have to be careful with is this stitch right here. This one sometimes, so it's like a little diamond. Sometimes if you don't put a matching color, you're going to see that through the decorative stitch. So that's where I always say, try and match your color. I kind of like this little, we're on a tripod. I'm on a tripod today instead of the filming arm, and I kind of like it. Heat up your iron too. Go ahead and touch your iron and heat it up. Because we're going to press this once we're done trimming it. Are we going to trim? Yeah, we're going to press it next. Okay, when you press, I think they call that, that one's not candle wicking because the candle's more like a little snowflake. I don't think this is, I don't know what it's called. So I'm going to take this over here. We're going to go ahead and press it down. I'm going to slide this off. And I use a goddess pressing sheet. It's my favorite. This one has seen better days. It looks like it's partial piece. I'm just going to lay it down on here and just, yeah, I think the instructions say 17 to 20 seconds, but I find like 10 is good. All right. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and slide this back on, and then we're going to do some decorative stitching. How are we doing? Give me I want cryy face if you're crying. Hopefully you're not. Gail's not. Gail, how's the 10 needle? Everything good? Is yours here? Is it still here? Yeah. Do we have it? You don't have it yet. Okay.
No,
I don't
you
know.
still have my 10 needle.
Okay. I don't know if we've given you the update. I don't know what Patrick's got going on. All right. This is going to be for the antlers. Like originally in the directions, it was like the swirl fabric like this, the brown, but they discontinued it. And that's why you didn't get that in your kit. I'm going to go ahead and do my placement line. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot of spray. Make sure that your strap, when you put this back on, make sure your strap doesn't get folded under. I would check it right now, make sure he's in the right spot. All right. Let's go ahead and lay this down. And quite honestly, you don't really need a piece this big. It just makes it convenient that you can put it down all at once. Go ahead and press that puppy down. And you can also use tape if you want to do that. So you're going to tack it down and then we're going to go ahead and trim away. This is like a perfect, well, it's a fun like project for everyone. But if you're new to embroidery, this is just machine applique. It's kind of like coloring with fabric. So we just did step 25. We just stitched the antler tack down and now we're going to trim fabric close to the stitch line. This design, and I think I sent them to you, you should have gotten the SVG files. This would be a great thing to, do on your scan and cut, because then you wouldn't have to have all these innies and outies. Miss Shelley Sandra, did you already cut your pieces on your scan and cut pre-class? Somebody.
Yes, I did.
Somebody was telling me that they were like, maybe it was Linda, she was saying, and then she cuts all her pieces on the scan and cut. And I was thinking, darn it, I need to do that too. I need to do that because I have my scan and cut. I did that OESD gingerbread house, and it was tough cutting through all of the cutaway stable stick and then all of the like the little windows in the fabric. And she was just going, it was so easy on my scan and cut. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I, there's pain in change. So I've always done it like this. And so there's no pain in this for me, but there's pain and change for me to switch to just do everything on my scan and cut. And I need to do that. I need to just have it cut it all for me. Because for you, Miss Shelley, it'd be pain. This would be pain for you. You're probably already ahead because Miss Shelley can just take her piece, just lay it down, and then do the tack down. Is that how you do it? Do you have the tack down the? Because I think what is your rule of thumb, Shelley? Do you do how many clicks? Do you do, or does it already come sized a little bit bigger to fit?
I typically do 2 clicks for the
2
Kimberbell.
clicks.
Yeah.
And then do you do the tack down to tack it down, or do you go right to the decorative stitch?
I do tack it down.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll make that my goal to try and do that in the new year. I usually don't make New Year's resolutions because I find that I lie to myself. I'm really bad with resolutions. We have 10 days off. And I'm so excited because I have a lot of projects that I'm excited to try. One of which is going to be serger. I'm going to be doing some serger projects for next year. Get a lot of requests for those. All right. Antlers done. Now we're just going to go into decorative stitching. So it looks, Irene, you look like you're cutting. How about Miss Shelley? Are you cutting? I can kind of tell just by looking at you. So if you are ready to start doing your decorative stitch, if you're not, don't worry, you're going to be, it's pretty simple instructions. We're going to do the satin stitch outline of your J. You can choose whichever red you want. I think the first time I did this project, I just used the same red. And I usually like to show this in my videos. I don't take this and pull it back. So people are like, don't pull back your thread. So I don't do that because there's a tension disc right here, but I unthread it. So I just reverse thread it to right here, and then it just comes right out. Okay. So I don't want you to be scared thinking that I'm pulling back. That being said, when I first got my first embroidery machine, I bought it here at this shop from the former owner. And I didn't get any classes. I just bought the machine. You figured it out. You got the best price. And nobody told me that you weren't supposed to pull it back. And for like 8 years, I just pulled back my thread. I never had any problems. However, there's like a spring up here in like step number 3, and you can get it wrapped around that spring. And the more you pull, the worse it gets. So I'd say 10% of the time I pull it back. I'm being totally honest with you. But 9 out of 10 times I unthread it to right here, past the spring, the tension disc, and then I just take it out. If I'm really tired, I go, oh, for 8 years, nothing ever happened. That's not saying something won't happen to you. Best thing to do is to cut it here and grab your thread at the needle and pull it out, or reverse thread it like I just did. It's your little mini lesson. All right, you are just going to be satin stitching around your J. We're going to be doing, right now, we're doing this step right here where we're satin stitching around the J. Then we're going to change thread to the desired color, and we're going to stitch the J decorative top stitch. It's just like a running stitch that goes through the middle of the satin stitch. And I just did mine in white. So you can choose whatever color you want, but go ahead and choose a color for that. Let me grab our sample and I can show it to you. So this is the stitch we're going to be doing next. Do you see how it just goes in the middle of the satin stitch? And it really makes it, don't you think? Like, it would be so boring with just the satin stitch. The other thing that you might want to consider doing if you are doing this on a bag is embellishing your bag. So I searched all over my sewing room because I know somewhere in my sewing room, I have some Riley Blake, really big polka dot rickrack, because I wanted to take that and I wanted to put it here on the top of the bag. And I think it just needs something like that, just to make it like pop. What I did find in my sewing room, let me see if I can zoom out. Am I zooming in? Zoom out. Am I zooming out? Nope, that's in. Okay. I had pom-pom trim. So I thought about putting that on the top of my bag, some cute pom-pom trim. But it was like a darker red. It just wasn't the right shade. But I think like big rickrack would be super cute. I don't know what else would be cute, but it would be really cute if you did a little bit more embellishing on that bag. You could do, what was that?
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I'm kind of going the extra step and putting my girls' name on them because Bola's a teacher.
Super cute.
If I put her name on it, it makes a good gift for teachers.
Yeah. Where are you? Yeah, that would be
Over
totally
the top.
adorable. Just like over here, like on this, like on the top here.
Yep. Yep.
That's kind of like saying, you're my joy.
Are they?
This would be cute too. You could do the stitch down the center, but I'm going to do white. I think that makes it pop the most. It looks the cutest. So here's my whitey white. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the top. So I'm ready to go. Ooh, Brenda, that makes me want to have a sip of my coffee too. Let me go ahead and grab it. Patrick makes the best latte in the world. I don't even like going and getting my coffee someplace else because he makes it. He knows how I like it. It's perfect every time. Pretty. This would be super cute on some towels, a t-shirt. When my, so I have a multi-needle, but my first multi-needle that I bought it here at this store. I bought it used. I bought a 6 needle. And I bought it because I was making t-shirts for my friends' kids for the holidays. So I would stitch something like this on a t-shirt and then I would put their name on it. I probably could have bought the t-shirts for like 25 or 30 bucks every Christmas, but you know how we are. Instead we buy the machine. So instead I bought the thousands of dollars, the machine. But this would have been a perfect design because and it was so cute because I would like I had one family that I would make the t-shirts for and the kids would pass down the t-shirt. The funny part of that is it would have a name on it. And so the little one would be wearing a t-shirt and wouldn't even have her name on it. It'd have the name of like her older sister. But it made me feel so good because it was something that they all like used and wore and they loved him and the parents would always be so happy too. All right, this is going to be the little stitch that goes down the satin stitch. So I'm doing white. All right, I'm going to stop it because I can see this thread right here is going to just get stitched in somehow. Let me go ahead and snip that really quickly. All right, and just start it up again. I'm not used to you ladies being able to see me because my computer, the camera's been dead in it pretty much since I got it. Miss Shelley, how are you? Are you trimming? Are you applique trimming? Are you way ahead of us? You're applique trimming? Okay, let me know if there's a step that you're at and you have questions, just let me know. When we do these sew-alongs, I find that half the people are, we'll divide it into third. A third of you are going to be ahead of me. A third of you are going to be right with me. And a third of you are going to be behind me. And that's why the videos are nice. So if you ever get lost, you can watch those videos. And you can always ask while we're doing the class. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put in this darker red now. And it's just a shade darker than my my wildflower. If you have bottoms like this, always cinch them shut when you're ready to stitch. Your thread can get caught in there. My multi-needle, if I ever forget that, I swear it always gets caught and I always snap a needle. Boop. There's Momo and his warm welcome. Oh my God, I think he ran out the door. Here we go. So just go ahead and do this. And then same thing, we're going to do that little decorative stitch down the middle. Shannon, how old are your kids? I found they're little, aren't they?
17, 16, and 14 and a half.
Oh man, 17, 16. So is your 17-year-old getting ready? Is your 17-year-old a senior or a junior this year?
He's a junior.
A junior, okay.
And right now they're so I have a junior, sophomore, and a freshman in high school right now.
Is that kind of exciting to have them all at one, like you're not going to pick them up at middle school and then high school? And I have friends that have kids, one's in elementary, one's in middle school, one's in high school. Must be nice, they're all together.
It was nice. And we live in an area where they were up until when my daughter was about to go into 4th grade. They were in the same elementary, and then she was able to get into a gifted program because of her being so advanced. So really, they haven't all three been together since they were in elementary.
Nice.
But we were able to, since the school is in the same town, she was able to be bused. So her brother would take her to the pickup location and then go to class because it was right at where he went to school.
That's always nice when like one starts driving. Like it's the scariest thing, but it's like the most awesome thing too.
My son's very lucky because he's learning right now and we have no snow. So he's
yeah.
learning and we normally get a lot of snow up here.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get snow here. I don't know if we'll get it in Reno. Sometimes it just sits in the mountains, but I don't know if anyone's been watching the weather in Reno. I think we're supposed to get a bunch of snow this weekend.
We were supposed to get 3 to 6, but it hasn't started yet. So
where are you again?
I'm in Green Bay.
In Green Bay. Nice. I've never been to Wisconsin. I'd like to go sometime.
Well, if you ever come up, let me know. I'll tell you where all the good places are to go.
Yeah, I definitely will. What we look for is we look for good food. And in my families, we're foodies. And so we always look for the best places to go eat.
It's funny. My most favorite place is this place that when you walk in, it looks like a bar, but it's actually a German restaurant. And I love the food there.
All right, well, check it out. If we're ever there, we'll put it on the list. All right, go ahead and just do your sign stitching. And then get your white ready, and then and again, if you want to just do the same 2 reds, you can do the same 2 reds. Mine are really, really close. I think I wouldn't even really be able to tell too much. But one's a little bit more cranberry.
Girl. I know, Mama's in a class.
I think lining the bag would be perfect, Lynn. It'll give it some more body. Hang on just a sec. We are going to go ahead and we're going to box the bottom of it. So we'll do that, but lining it would definitely make it more substantial. I think that's a great idea. And I think like lining it and making it a little bit, like if you measure the size of the bag and just make it a little bit smaller, because I find that when I line it, the lining's always like a little bit too big. So maybe if you just even made it 1/2 inch, not as deep. I always try and do that. All right, I'm going to take this thread out. You're going to put the next one in. So go pack. So is Wisconsin, is it wolf pack? Is that what they call it? Because we're pack 2. I want to say UNR is the wolf pack.
No, we're just the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, I should know that. I'm the person, we're the ones, like Patrick's like this too. We're the ones that never know who's in the Super Bowl. And then Patrick usually skis. It always turns out he's skiing and he's always like, God, there was no one on the mountain today. And he'll ski on like a Sunday. And it's always because it's like the Super Bowl. And nobody invites us to their Super Bowl parties either because they know we don't watch football. But we're like, we'd like to come to the party anyways. The Green Bay Packers. I should have known that.
And we have the Milwaukee Brewers for the baseball. So.
Okay, I'll remember that one next time. So I'll sound like I know what I mean.
Don't worry, I don't watch the Packers because.
Okay, didn't the fridge, was he a Green Bay Packer?
I think that was a Chicago Bear.
Okay, sorry.
No, I know what you're talking about. In fact, when they were into the Super Bowl, the Bears, I was a young teen or a tween, and I actually was in DC when they were having some kind of football convention, and I actually got stuck in a refrigerator with one of them, McMahon or something like that. And he was just the rudest person.
Ooh, Okay, we are gonna do our stitching, and it's not even like a diamond stitch or like a candle wicking stitch, or I don't even know what they call this thing. But this is that like fancy stitch they did. Now, if you look at my little reindeer, he's got like, I mean, I know when I stitched it, it was nice and flat, just like this one is nice and flat. But if you, for large pieces like this, if you want to put back it with some kind of fusible, like Misty Fuse or something like that, that's a permanent adhesion and it'll make it so that doesn't happen. But this is just like a little bag that I'm making. Maybe I'll just keep this in my car. It'll be like a little shopping bag. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and it's going to do the stitching around that. And for any large pieces of fabric, if you don't want to have that like movement because it's not adhered, you could do Misty Fuse, you could do Steam a Seam Light, you could do Heat and Bond Light, anything like that would make it so it would just stay right down. Okay, so we're going to do this decorative stitch around the reindeer. After that, let's see what page we're on right now. Here's our reindeer decorative stitch. Then we're going to change our thread color, and then we're going to do the antler outline. So in the sample, they use like, it's almost like a reddish brown. I'm going to go full on dark brown for this one. I did it with this one, and I just wasn't like, see, I did like a reddish brown, because usually I don't trust my color choices. And I go, oh, I should have just done exactly what they had. And this is like definitely a reddish brown, but I wasn't like crazy about it. He's okay. I'm going to do dark brown to like match that kind of part. And maybe it looked different on theirs or better on theirs because they had that brown swirl fabric that is discontinued. I don't know why. So I'm going to use this. It's actually, you know, maybe I should go darker. Let me find a darker one. Is this one? This one's actually like a reddish brown. I'll use this, but it's darker than my reddish brown, so I'm going to use that.
Hey, Jeannie, have you been switching out your bobbin at all?
Nope. Have you had to switch yours? Was it not full? It must not have been full, right? Because I put a brand new Tech bobbin in, and I haven't had to switch it.
I've been switching it out for the different colors.
Oh, I never switch it out. The only time I do a matching bobbin is sorry, I'm not even focused in on what we're doing. I put a matching bobbin in if I'm stitching black. Sometimes I'll do it when I'm stitching red, because you just get, it's like high contrast stuff, and sometimes you see it, and it's not even that you're pulling up, that it's pulling up your bobbin thread. It's just that you see it through the pin dot of the needle going back and forth, like in a hole. So, and I do it when I'm doing freestanding lace. Other than that, I just use white. I use white 90, I'd say 95% of the time. And then I'll match it, like I match it, but I match it rarely. Yeah, don't switch it out. Just put your white in there. What's going to happen, like on the back? Let's look at our back. You should get, rule of thumb is about a third. So a third of the back is going to pull back your colored thread. And that's rule of thumb. It's not always going to be like that. So you're not going to see, you won't see the white. If you're seeing the white, rethread your bobbin.
I think the problem I have is it does, when I do a satin stitch, it does want to bring up the bobbin.
Okay, so I would take the bobbin and put it back in again, and just make sure you're in your bobbin tension. And then the other thing you can do is every once in a while, your bobbin case might lose tension. So things that I'll do is I will take my bobbin case out, and I'll take a brush and I'll like kind of scrub it out just to make sure there's no threads in there. Hang on a second. I'm going to go grab, while it's doing this, I'm going to go grab a bobbin case. We'll talk about bobbin case making. Okay, so I grabbed a bobbin case. So you're gonna take your bobbin case out, and like every once in a while, you're gonna like want to like brush this out. This is where your bobbin tension comes from, right in here. So you get your bobbin tension when, let's grab a piece of thread. I'm gonna grab this one. It's gonna go into like that. So that's your bobbin tension. It goes in here. And then as you stitch, you're going to see it go like this and then up through the hole in your, I guess your needle plate, right? So sometimes you can lose tension too. So this, when you get your machine, if you have a Baby Lock or Brother machine, your bobbin case that they have set in your machine is one that looks like this, and it has some green paint on the screw. So it's glued in that position with Loctite. Some people will break that. Like, you know, if you're using different thread, they'll adjust that. I wouldn't adjust it. I would just leave it. But I have seen bobbin cases sometimes where the bobbin tension, where it's not, I guess it's not set right every once in a while. So Irene, you can bring in your bobbin case. The boys have something called a tensionometer. We can put that through here and we can make sure that you're at the right tension. The other thing is some people get cheap bobbins online and the thread is super, super silky and it doesn't stay, it just goes right through. So we have people sometimes where I'll say, bring me in your bobbins. I want to see, are you using Filtech bobbins? And if they are, it should be fine. But sometimes they buy these bobbins online and it doesn't hold the bobbin tension. Okay. So we could check that too. But if you want, we could check out so if you get a piece of lint in, let me let Cindy in. If you get a piece of lint in here, you can kind of brush it out too. So like brush it out on my 10 needle. Every once in a while, I'll get a piece of lint in there and I'll just kind of drag a credit card, not a credit card, like a business card, and it'll clear it. But you'd be amazed what just one little piece of lint can do to your tension. So Irene, I would just bring in your bobbin case and I'll check it for you. I'll make sure it's perfect. But yeah, if it's bringing it up and you know that it's in right, then maybe there's something going on with your bobbin case. Another thing is if you don't use a spool cap on these, I would recommend no spool cap, or you're going to use the little gray one that fits into this hole. You're going to use that. Sometimes a spool cap up here, the thread will get caught, and that can bring up your bobbin thread too. So things in your upper threading can affect your bobbin thread coming up. Any questions, ladies, while we're waiting for our antlers to be stitched out? If you have any other issues like that, we can talk about that too.
Thank
Hi,
you, Jeannie.
Michelle. You're welcome. Yeah, bring it in. I'll check it for you. I want your stitching to be perfect, Irene. You shouldn't have to be winding matching bobbins because it's bringing it up.
Well, it looks perfect because I have a matching bobbin most of the time.
I get it. And that's why I almost always use a black bobbin with black thread, because I don't feel like dealing with just like a pin, you know, like the pinholes and it drives me crazy, like seeing any white thread with my black. So I almost always match. All right, now on to the next antler. After we do the antlers, what are we doing next? After the antlers, then we're going to do the nose. So nose is next. So get whichever red you want for the nose. I'm just going to do my favorite red, which is called Wildflower. I shouldn't call it my favorite red. There's like so many reds I love.
Jeannie, did you find that orange one I recommended previously?
I haven't even had the pumpkin, what was it called? Like pumpkin spice or something? Something pumpkin. I haven't even had a chance to look. I know, you know what I was going to do? Because it was during the sew along that you mentioned that. I was going to grab one of because I have Kimberbell thread sets here, and I have one for Hometown Halloween, and I also have one for, I don't know why I'm spacing on the quilt. But I have both of those, so I was going to open those up and see what oranges they use in there.
It's a pumpkin seed from Glide.
Yes, I haven't gotten there. A little bit behind.
You're a
Trying to
busy
catch
mom.
up. Yeah. So your Lumi hates black. So does your Lumi hate like a specific black? And because I've never had any issues with my black, but the blacks, well, that's a lie. So I have had issues with black. I've never had issues with my Marathon black. I've never had issues with my Isocord, with my Robeson Anton. I bought, it was before we owned the store, because now on the weekends, if I run out of something, I can hop in the car because I have the keys to the place. I can come in and get whatever I want. Pre-owning the store, on a Sunday, if I ran out of something, I was like, you guys, I had to run down to Joann's and go pick something up. So I bought Sulky. That was like the nicest embroidery thread they had there. I had so many issues with it breaking. And as soon as I changed that to a different black, I didn't have those issues. So I don't buy Sulky embroidery thread. I know some of you use it and it works great for you and keep using it. But people have issues with black because I think it's like double dyed or it's triple dyed. So it's used, I think the darker the color, the weaker the thread from the dye process is what I've heard. I believe everything I'm told. I'm very gullible.
And I only have Glide, Floriani and Isocord, and it just likes anything darker than like a gunmetal gray.
You have issues with it. So as far as Floriani goes, when we have issues with machines that are breaking thread, when we call our tech department, they'll ask us if it's Floriani, because Floriani is cross-wound. It's wound the opposite way of every other thread. So some machines, and that being said, I have some people that go, my machine loves Floriani, and so just keep stitching with it. I have some people that have issues with Floriani all the time, but that could be an issue. Just the Floriani, they wind it, or whatever they do in their process, it's the opposite. But I've never had issues with Isocord, and that's what we sell here in the store. And I use a lot of Glide at this point because I use it for a lot of the Kimberbell projects.
I don't know. When I had my Stellaire and then when I had the 2800D, both of those machines disliked the black also. So I think maybe I just have a black, black bad set.
There's something, it's like your black thread has bad juju in the house. As soon as it comes in, doesn't want to work for you.
Yeah, so usually if I ask for a black, I usually try to do like my darkest gray if I can get away with it.
Yeah, I really like Glide has that color called Shadow. And I also really like 4174, which is Isocord, and that's like a dark gray too. So once you are done with the antlers, go ahead and you're going to put red back in, whichever red you want, and you're going to do the outline of the nose.
Jeannie, thank you. I need to leave. Michaela's coming over. We have a sew date. So
yeah, you were probably all done way before us too, because your stuff was all pre-cut.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Is Michaela sewing with you? You guys are going to sew together?
Yeah, we're making Christmas gifts for her friends. We digitized some cartoon characters. I don't know what the one, it's some that she likes really. I've never seen them before, but she's an art major and she got stuff together and then gave it to me. And so it was like a team effort.
I love it.
Yeah, so she's gonna come over and we're gonna get some machines going. So
all right, have fun. Send me some pictures. I want to see what you guys do.
Awesome.
I love your show and tell.
Yep. See you later. Thanks a lot.
Right. Bye. Thanks. What is hometown Halloween? Maybe I'm not even, is hometown Halloween hometown Halloween might be the quilt. And then let me grab them. I've got like 30 seconds. Okay. Hometown Halloween, Lynn, is nothing. It's just something I made up because I went and grabbed like all the Halloween projects. Okay, while I'm explaining that to you, let's go ahead and put in our color for the eyes. You can go full on black, or you could go dark gray, whichever works for you. Sometimes the black is too harsh, right? Maybe my reindeer has Cindy. Wow, I like that. Let me go ahead and put this in. I'm just going on full on black. So I went and grabbed, I thought there was a hometown Halloween. Maybe I'm thinking of this. Oh, I am thinking of this. So it does say hometown Halloween on there. So I'm not completely crazy. So this one was thinking about giving mine blue. I think, yeah, go for it. So this one featuring a hometown Halloween fabric. That's it. Okay, so hometown Halloween was just their fabric line. So this one is Candy Corn Quilt Shop. So we have that one, right? And then we had this Halloween project where home is where the haunt is. And that's the 22-inch by 22-inch pillow. And then I loved this. This is Twilight Boulevard. So I was making up hometown Halloween. That's what I do because I'm so bad at remembering things. And we are done. So let's go ahead and we're going to take this out. I don't know how I did it, but I've made a huge mess over here and I'm going to clean it right now. But let's go ahead. Let me back it up just a little. I really like this little filming arm. I'm going to use this more.
Hey, Jeannie.
Yeah.
While you're cleaning, I was using Floriana yesterday for a Christmas stocking.
Yep.
And it was giving me all kinds of trouble. Did they give you any hints of how to use it?
No, I have no hints for you. And I know people because you do Floriani events, and that's like part like you'll end up getting all this Floriani thread. No, it's how it's manufactured, and I do know a lot of people, they just switch out their thread. I hate saying that.
I can cuss at it very well.
Has it always given you problems? Because if it hasn't always given you problems, then maybe it's something else, right? Like maybe it's not the thread.
Well, I used Isacord on one stocking with absolutely no problems.
Yeah.
The second stocking I made was with the Floriani, and it gave me all kinds of grief.
Yeah. So don't use, I don't know what else to say. But sometimes does it work just fine? I don't know.
I've got so much Isacord that it just depends on what I grab.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Obviously I've been grabbing more Isacord.
Yeah. Than your other one.
Yeah. It was just a dark green that I had to use on the one. And that's what I had was the Floriani to match.
Yeah. How lame is that? Like, I don't know how else to, what else you can do. Wouldn't those antlers and his nose be darling with, that would be really, yeah. So yeah, Cheryl, I wish I had a better answer for you than that. One that you could go, oh, here's the fix. But I don't know why they do that, why they're opposite, regular standards, and it goes the opposite direction. But maybe Patrick has a better answer for you because he's the service guy. So he might have something better for you to share with you.
Well, the stocking is done now and I'm back on Isacord. So I got through it.
So I still have my little sticky stuff here when I do like edge to edge, that's on there. So I'm just going to leave it once it gets to get it off. You just go ahead and get one end going, whoops, like this. And it just kind of peels off, which is really, really nice. Not all double-sided tape comes off that easily. So if you are going to use some double-sided tape, like I said, you want to use the Nancy Zeman stuff. It's like just the best. All right,
Jeannie.
Yes.
It's Irene. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I happen to have some red rickrack.
Yes.
Where would I put it on? How would I attach it to the back?
I think if you had red rickrack, because I wanted that, like I said, Riley Blake made this really thick rickrack that was really beefy and it was red and white polka. They had all different colors. So I found 2 of the colors, but I know I have that. I think it would be really cool, just really pretty right here. Just some kind of
Okay.
trim right along, like maybe like on top of that stitch, or maybe a little bit lower because you have the handles right here that might be hard to sew through. But I think some kind of embellishment on the very top of the bag would look perfect, and it would really make this bag, it would really complete it. Because I think it's a little plain like this for me. I want something just, or like I said, I wanted to put that pom-pom trim up here, but my red was like a maroon, which is a
Oh.
little bit too dark. I had green, I thought about that. So just something here would just be adorable.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe even a cute little embroidery Christmas that matches.
That would be really cute too, if you wanted to do something, yeah, something along here. But don't you think it just needs like a little more, like spinal tap? We want to go to 11. Right now we're at a 10. We want to go to 11. All right. I'm going to put that off to the side. Let's grab our directions and let's go ahead and finish up. So what it says right here, it says remove the project from the hoop, tear away the excess stabilizer. We're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to go ahead and sew it up. And that's kind of it for it. But we're going to do a little bit more than what's here in our instructions, because we're going to box the bottom. When you box the bottom, then you can like put things in here that are dimensional. And it's not, and like Lynn said, I think it would be fantastic to take this project and to add, can you see the bottom right there? So it doesn't sit like, it's like a shopping bag, right? Like if you box the bottom, it's just gonna hold more, and it's just gonna be, I think, nicer. I usually box my bottoms in all of bags like this, and it's easy to do. All right, let's take off our tearaway.
Hey, Jeannie, me again. Do you have any instructions on how to do a lining for the bag?
You know what you would do is, I don't have any instructions, but we're going to be sewing in, with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So if this bag is, go ahead and measure. Our bag is, I don't know. I think they make these in like the factories, and they make them super quick. Measure yours and see if you guys have the same as me, but mine measures out to be 17 3/4. But sometimes you're going to measure and it's going to be different. I'm 17 3/4. Let's see if I'm 17 3/4 up here too. I am 17 5/8. So what are you ladies if you measure your bag? Let's go ahead and we'll talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and tear away my tearaway. So the tearaway I put in your kit is Baby Lock's 12-inch tearaway firm. It's my favorite tearaway because I feel like it provides a lot of support, but it's really easy to rip off. And before, I used to go tearaway firm, just the name of it, I thought it was going to be heavy. Like tearaway soft, I thought, oh, tearaway soft, that must be thin. Tearaway firm, that must be heavy. But tearaway firm, I think it's more the feel. Like tearaway firm is firm to the touch, and the soft is really soft, but it's heavier. This is kind of my go-to that I use most of the time, unless I'm doing a OESD project, and OESD says to use a certain stabilizer. I almost always use what they ask me to use. The other thing I love about and I usually use a pair of scissors and I'll kind of pick at it. I really like, my favorite size is the 12-inch. You might have in your kit, I think I did some 20-inch. I might have done some 20-inch tearaway as well, because that is good, and I can cut that down for the 6x10 hoops. But I really like 12-inch stabilizer most of the time, unless I'm doing a 9.5 by 14-inch hoop. Then I'll go 15-inch. Or I'm using the biggest size for the biggest size for the 10.5 by 16, then I'll go 20-inch. How are we doing? We okay, ladies? We getting rid of our, oh my God, Brenda, am I way behind you? Are you already done? I'm holding you up. No?
I'm still stitching his eyeballs.
Okay, no worries. Oh, so Irene, you had asked about directions for doing a lining. I think what I would do is I would make my lining the same size as my bag. Let's see, can you see this way? I would make my lining the same size as my bag from left to right. So widthwise. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Yeah,
get this in the right. You can? So this way I would make it the same size, but from here to here, like from the top to the bottom, I would make it probably 1/2 inch to 1 inch shorter, because I feel like if you make it the same size, it always kind of, it's too big on the inside. I don't know why it does that, but I would just go a smidge smaller. So let's say it's 17 inches by 17 inches by, and I would make my lining maybe go to the middle of this. I wouldn't have it come all the way up to the edge. Let's measure. I am going to measure from end to end. So that is 14 and so let's say that's 24 plus 5, so 29 inches. So maybe I would measure this. I would do, instead of 29, I would do 28, which would take off 1/2 inch from top to bottom, like it would go in the middle of this. And then I would do the same measurement. So whatever it was here, 17. That's Mr. Momo. He just came to say hi.
And wouldn't you box the bottom of the lining too?
Yes, you would box the bottom. You would sew the lining together with your 1/2 inch seam allowance, box the bottom, then you're going to put it inside, wrong side to wrong side, and then you can sew it around like the top. And that's kind of it.
So do you sew the bag all together and then drop the lining in and sew it around it? Or would that be the easiest way?
I think
I've done it once, but it was a long time ago.
I've done it.
and I can't
I've done
remember.
it before too, and it's been a long time. What do you ladies suggest? I think in this case, I would do it that way. I think that would be the easiest, because you could. I guess you could put it in. I think I would do them separately. What do you ladies think? Because there are times when people do it together and they turn it right side out through a little hole and it's kind of already done. Honestly, I can't even think of how to do that right now. So Lynn says lining always comes out larger because it's going inside the bag, 1/2 inch for sure. Would you do more than 1/2 inch, Lynn? And where do you sew the top edge at? For me, because I think it would be too hard to sew your top edge right here because this thing is thick. I think I would sew my top edge just a little bit down from here. And here comes our resident bag lady. We can ask Michelle too. So they're talking about doing a lining with this. So would you do this and then your lining and drop it in and then just sew it at the top?
Because they can actually just go around the stitching that's already there. Just fold the edges under once it's made, and then just follow the line that's already there. It'll be like seamless.
So Michelle, I would drop mine down a little bit, but you could have it go right to the edge. And then Michelle said she would follow just one of the lines of stitching that's already there, and then you wouldn't even know. But she said, yeah, do the bag and then do the lining and drop it in. And if Michelle says that, then do what Michelle says. If you want to have great results in a beautiful bag, Michelle is like the best bag maker out there. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and let's wonder clip. I'm a wonder clip girl because I stab myself with pins. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wonder clip the edges of this. I'm going to make this go down a little bit. 1/2 inch smaller on both sides. Lynn's suggesting 1/2 inch smaller on both sides. I've seen Lynn's work. It is absolutely beautiful and it's always perfect. So you could do that too. I wonder the only thing, you might have to ease it around the top to just get it. You might have to just give it a little tug around the top to make sure it fits up on the top. Let's go ahead and clip. I would go ahead and, you can make sure your straps match, or in this case, I would just make sure your edges match, because you're not going to grab your bag and go, ooh, are my straps perfectly matched? So let's just go ahead and match up our edges.
Right, I'm gonna go run get you and I'll be right back.
All right. I haven't even seen Miss Poppy. I wonder what those two are up to. I wonder if she's staying in her playpen. She's settling in the house and she's become I was like, oh, she's so perfect and easy. She's been a terror, biting my toes and my ankles, and just like we put our shoes on the other side because she loves them. So we're putting them on the other side of the gate. You see her with her little paw, just like reaching through the gate, like trying to grab the stuff to get it. She loves biting our hair. So me and Violet and I, she's been biting our hair. You know how sharp those like little puppy teeth are too. Poor little Momo, she was biting his ears and making him cry. But she's so darn cute. And she's so cuddly, and like most of the time she's just trying to give you kisses. Okay, let's go to the machine. I brought my walking foot with me. Here's my dual feed walking foot. This is the compact one with the little butt. What came with most of your machines, unless you got like a Lumi 3 or the newer machines, is the bigger one that has kind of the bigger butt. Sometimes fabric gets stuck under there. Not a big deal. You just give it a little pluck and it'll go underneath. That's what I did. And even when the new foot came out, I didn't get a new one for a long time. Here are the soles, and I don't travel. I bring them everywhere, because you never know which one you're going to be using. And it's what I sew with on my machine 90% of the time. If you have this foot and you haven't been using it, you should use it. Irene, did you have a question? I see a little hand up.
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand from my
I could
lining
probably
question.
share it, and I don't even know how. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm going to adjust this down again. And let me adjust this up, and I think we're going to be good to go. I'm going to go ahead. Let's switch over to sewing and touch my screen. Let's go home. That's going to bring you to your main screen. Oh, are we okay to cancel? Yes. And let's go into sewing. Carriage is going to move. Good with that. And I'm going to change out my foot. I'm going to attempt to, if I can find my screwdriver. Here it is. I just unloosen it. That's just for my final turn. And these are so easy to hook up, because you just put this over the screw. Slip it on from the back, hand tighten, and then always tighten with a screwdriver. I don't think my machine allows for a walking foot. It does not. So Karen, it doesn't allow for this walking foot, but you can still get a regular walking foot for that. This, you have to, the back of it gets in the way a little bit, so you have to angle that the tiniest bit and then plug it in. But I love the walking foot. There's different ones that you can get too. Like you can get the one that there's like a dynamic one, I think, where you can change out the soles for that. So let me go ahead and adjust that up. As far as thread goes, I would pick a color that is going to match. So I'm using a chambray bag, so I just brought this. And I didn't bring there's that, if you have that little gray spool cap, that's normally what I use with this thread. Because this it'll feed off. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and thread this up. And I brought a bobbin too. And if you just want to put regular white thread in, you can just do that as well. I love these bobbin boats because I'll fill them with the thread of the project that I'm using. And this is just like a variegated light blue that I'm going to put in. if you want to just put the white in, but I'm going to do a little top stitching. So I'm going to put this in. We want 1/2 inch. Different ways you can get your 1/2 inch, ladies. You can measure on the bed of your machine. You could sew in the left position, measure over 1/2 inch. What I'm going to do is I am on the Solaris and Luminaire, so I'm going to use my seam allowance. So I'm going to show you how to do that if you do have this machine. Otherwise, you're just going to use traditional ways of measuring your 1/2 inch. You could measure it and mark it if you want. I'm going to stay, can I get, yeah, I can do that. I'm going to stay here and stitch 103 and I'm going to turn on my guideline markers. So I'm just going to turn that on. Main is just where you set like color. And you know what? I like this to be at 0. My main line position, I'm going to just go ahead and put this back to 0. Your sub is where all the fun stuff happens right here. So I'm going to hit sub. And this is seam allowance. I'm going to go into that. And I'm going to set it up for 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is going to be, I think it's 12.7. So if you look at the bed of my machine, if you don't have this, you could just draw a 1/2 inch seam right here, like a line that you're going to sew on. That's going to be a guide. But if you look right here on the bed of my machine, let me lower that down a little bit. You're going to see this seam allowance right there. I'm at 2 millimeters, and now I'm going to make it go all the way up to 1/2 inch. Okay, 12.7 on your machine. You'll see it right here. 12.7 is 1/2 inch. I could change the color of the lines, but I normally use red. I feel like I can see it the best. Let me see if I can grab my foot control because the tripod is on it. Sorry, I'm moving everything around so much. Let me reach for it. I would top stitch, I'm not top stitch, back stitch top and bottom. And let's go ahead and sew that. Sorry, that's my knee. Let me get my foot control where I can reach it. Make sure that's matched up right there. You don't want that to be off. And I'm just going to make sure the red line stays on the edge of my fabric as best it can. Oh, I need a different sole. I'm going to pop off the 1/4 inch and I'm just going to use my regular sole, this one, the regular zigzag sole. They go on and off really easily. Just push it on and we're ready to go. So you can see the red line here. This line of my fabric is curved a little bit. So if it looks like I'm sewing really not straight, it could be part me and part of it's my bag. And I'm going to give it a little back stitch. You don't want to do a lot of back stitching with that walking foot on. It really is meant for forward motion only, but I will go a little bit back. Okay, just sew up that edge. I'm just focusing on making sure I see the red line right on the edge. And you're looking at it from an angle too. I'm looking at it head on, so it might look like it's off. And I love that seam allowance thing because I don't have to use like a quilt bar. I don't have to mark. I can adjust it back and forth between my 1/4 inch, a 3/8 inch, whatever it's requesting in your pattern. And take your time. This isn't a race. And if you haven't used that feature, this is the perfect time to use that feature, right? Let me adjust this up a little bit so you can see it. Any questions on setting up that guideline marker? I don't think my machine allows for, oh, I was reading that old message, Karen, sorry. Wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Go ahead and do the other side. I just flip my bag over. I just want to make sure that this is nice and lined up.
Jeannie, what machine are you using there at the store today?
I'm on the Solaris.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a Luminaire at home. They're pretty much mechanically the same. So if you don't have these guideline markers, like I said, you could just take a friction pen and just mark 1/2 inch in. You could use a seam guide, a quilt bar. You have lots of tools. You could use the diagonal seam tape So you could use, or you could use what I have on my PQ 1500 is, I just have a magnetic seam guide that I put on the bed of my machine. I can show that to you too. Because my PQ 1500 doesn't have fancy marks like this. It's not a big deal. And I love straight stitching on that. I know these aren't totally lined up. I'm not worried about it because it's taut and I'm just lining it up with one side because look, then we come in here and it comes back to match. I should grab those, like what I use with my PQ 1500. All right, we are stitched up. Okay, something that I do on these Kimberbell totes is, because I don't like this seam kind of sticking out like that, I usually take mine and I open this up flat. You can press it if you want. And I top stitch right on here and here. So this isn't just sticking out like that. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to top stitch this down right on that stitch and right on that stitch. Mine is projecting down. I'm just going to make sure that red line just stays right down on there. I'm just going to go a little bit beyond this, the seam over here and here.
Hey, Jeannie,
Yep.
what's a PQ 1500?
Oh my God. Everyone needs that machine. Cheryl, throw it on the
Best
Christmas list.
thing in the world.
Who said? Oh, so Rolo said that. It is the PQ 1500. It's the same as the Baby Lock Accomplish. They're both made by Brother though. And like Rolo said, it is it's a straight stitch only machine. And what I love about it is it stitches at 1500 stitches per minute, which isn't like how I stitch all the time. So I just used a matching thread and I sewed right over that just to make sure that this lays flat. You don't have to do
Rolo could get me in trouble.
Rolo's a good partner in crime if you feel like shopping.
Okay, in my defense, if I didn't already buy it, I would never know. And I'm kind of spoiled in that aspect.
So Rolo, do you want to talk about what you love about it?
I love it because it's an amazing workhorse. I love it.
Yeah.
So when you have multiple layers, it goes right through it like butter. The most, because I made a lot of bowl cozies. And let me tell you, for me, I know not you, Miss Jeannie Queen, I struggled going over it with my Luminaire or my Stellaire.
And I'm the same way.
And until I got that P1500, it was a struggle for me. And now it's like absolute butter.
Yeah, I know there are things that my machine will struggle. I'm talking about my Luminaire. Anytime I struggle with thickness, I just go to my PQ 1500. I know it's going to go through it and it's going to go through it like butter. I would call it semi-commercial. Like,
yeah. It doesn't complain at all.
So I'm super short. I know in the videos I look really tall. You're like, oh, Jeannie looks so tall. So I'm super short and I have to hem all my pants. And I used to have to, and even still, if I do it on my Luminaire, I have to use a Jean-a-majig. It's like a height compensation tool to get over that hump on the jeans. Like, you know, where it gets where it's doubled over, the seam is. On my PQ 1500, it'll go up and over. Like I said, we say it's like butter. Michelle has had the same PQ 1500 for 15 years and she's a bag lady. She uses it, to do all her straight stitching. So now the inside of my bag looks like this. And Cheryl, you can come in and I can demo that for you. We're going to box the bottom. So you could go ahead and press the seam open if you want, but I'm going to show you how to box the bottom and then we're going to be done and you can line it any way you want. So let's come back over here. Ooh, here we come, right here. What does PQ 50? Okay, pre-pandemic, the PQ 1500 was, I want to say $1,800. And this is a machine we can ship to you. So you can get it from us, or you could get it from your local dealer too, and then you wouldn't have to pay for shipping, right? So I totally get it. it was $1,800 at the pandemic. They dropped the price down to $699. They did raise the price up a little bit right now, and it's $799. On our Christmas list, we have it for $749. And you could Michelle Gil Martin. She did the most fantastic. She does a get to know your PQ 1500 video, and you could watch that. It's on YouTube. All right, boxing the bottom. You're going to need like a small quilting ruler. So let me grab one. We are going to mark it. So get a friction pen or a chalk pen if you have one. I'm going to use a friction pen. Where's my purple? If you don't have a friction pen, we carry these in the store, and we carry purple and turquoise. So you're just going to grab it. So here's my bag. I know you can't see the whole thing. So here's the corner of my bag. You're just going to grab it in one of the corners, and you are going to pull on either side. And you're just going to make it kind of peek into a triangle like this. Okay. And you could grab it from the bottom and do it like that as well. So do you see how it comes to like a little peak? So you just want to make sure that like this is kind of, you can feel for it. It's going to be behind the seam, that it's pretty even. You don't want it to be like all the way shifted. So the seam's over here and this goes this way. It kind of naturally happens. All right. And it doesn't have to be completely perfect. So if we want to, I'm working from the bottom, so you're not seeing the side seam. We're going to go ahead and lay this down. You can box it however you want it. If you want it to be really, really boxy on the bottom, then you could go ahead and you could sew measure like 4 inches across. Or if you don't want it boxed too much, you could measure like 2 inches anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and measure 3 inches. Hang on, there's something on the floor that's making me not roll. I don't even know what I did in the video. I just kind of picked something. I'll bend this down a little bit. So I'm going to just go to my 5-inch on here and make sure the 5's up here. Well, actually, here's my 5. And then I'm just going to go 1.5 inches will be 4.5 here, and 1.5 inches this way will be right here, 6.5. So I'm just going to, you know what? That's too small for me. I don't like that. I'm going to go to the 7 and the 3. You pick whatever numbers you want and box it however you want. There's my 7, there's my 3, and I'm making sure my 5 line goes right there. Does that make sense? I'm just picking whichever numbers I want. I'm just going to draw a straight line, and I'm going to sew on that line. Just like that. I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. I'm going to back stitch right here, go all the way across and back stitch there. And then you can just cut this off. If you want, you could do this on your serger. So a lot of times I'll do this on my serger, and then the edge will be completely finished on the inside. If you're going to be putting in a lining, who cares what it looks like? Just sew across it, just cut it off, and then your lining is going to cover it all over. If you're not, then it would be nice if you just did it on your serger. If anyone's looking for a serger, I just had somebody trade in Ovation. So we have a good used serger. We don't have those often, and I can ship that. We should have talked about that in the live feed. All right, here we go. I'm going to back stitch front and back and just make sure I'm right there. We're going to sew all the way across that line. And if those guideline markers are confusing, I'll just turn off that one. And a back stitch. There we go. One end is done. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Any questions about that? If you missed the first one, now we're going to do the second one. Here we go. The hard thing about a tripod is we're dealing with all the feet. My filming arm just clamps on. Okay, here's the next side. I'm going to grab it from the bottom. And I'm just going to go ahead and pinch and pull. So it has like a nice little triangle. I'm going to put my ruler down. I don't think I'm quite even. Let me shift it because I'm kind of feeling this and I'm feeling for that and making sure that it's like right on top. I need a better angle. There we go. All right, I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to put my ruler down. Hang on, I need a better angle for you. Here we go. Going to get my ruler. And I'm working with the 5. You could work with the 4 and just go, you know what I mean? You're just going to add up your numbers. I'm going from my 7 to my, what were you doing? 3 and 7. So that is 1 inch, 2 inch. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to draw a line straight across. I'm going to make sure the line of my 5 goes to the triangle. And let's draw a line and stitch it. I think I did my last one 3 inches, but I don't know. It just looks small for some reason. Okay, back to the machine. Sounds busy out there. How did you turn off that first guideline? Okay, so when you say the guideline, do you mean, so I have my red line here, the one to the right? I just went into, I'm in my guidelines, and here's your subline, and I just hit off. And so now I just have the main line. So if I go back to main, all I have is my main line. Easy peasy. Let me go ahead and sew this. Back stitch. So when you do your lining, you want to make sure you box it the same. It should be, well, I'm not sure if you have like, if it's a 1/2 inch smaller, I would still box it the same. All right, so I'm sewn. You can see like right there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut that right off. If you, like I said, if you have a serger and you want to go ahead and finish it off on the serger, you can do that. That way it's going to have that nice finished edge. For me, I'm just going to grab my scissors. Let's get it in. I'm just going to cut that. So then you don't have that on the inside of your bag. Hi, Myra. Oh, you're leaving? Safe travels. Okay, let's turn it inside out. I'm going to back it up. Back that thing up. Ugh. Let me get something higher. And there's the box on my bottom. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to give some of these away because I have a lot of them from doing all of these. But isn't that cute? And now you have that like nice box bottom. So you could use it like as a little school bag or something like that. And that's it. Any questions, ladies? We're good. Thank you so much for joining me. Very cute, Shelly. Look at, and then Irene's got hers. Irene, were you able to finish it? Did you box your bottom? No, but you know how to do it. That looks pretty easy. Shelly, you have any questions? You good? If anyone have any questions? If not, we are done. Thank you so much. What do you guys want to do for the next, because this is, does anyone have any suggestions of what you want to do for the next best of Kimberbell? Is there anything that you've seen that you're like, oh, I'm dying to do that project? Okay, give me, what'd you sell?
Well, it's the Courtney from yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll be on just 1 minute. Nothing. Okay, think about it. You might not even know what's out there. So if you look at Kimberbell Club, Kimberbell Club started in 2017 and they did it through 2020. 2021, they did Fill in the Blanks by Irene. And then 2022, they started with Digital Dealer and they're doing the same thing for 2023. So if there is anything that you want to do from Kimberbell Blanks 2021 through 2017 that you see, just shoot me an email and I'll take that into consideration when we pick our next project. I'm just trying to think of what was really, really great. There's been some great in the hoop bags that would be really fun to do. I would love to do those. But I mean, I kind of have an idea. There's going to be projects where people did a lot of oohing and eyeing over, but we'll have something, won't happen in December, but probably in January, maybe in February. We'll do another best of Kimberbell. Have a great day. Can't wait to see the book pillow. Did we just do that?
We
Was
did
book
that.
pillow-
That was this year. That was in 2022, the book pillow, because I've just made my third
Oh,
one.
yeah, that was this year. We probably won't do that one because we're looking for something from, but you can buy that. We have that. You can still buy the design and have the video, but we'll probably do something. Our best of series is going to be from 2021 and previous. So send in your suggestions. See you later,
so much,
guys.
Jean.
Thanks, Jeannie.
All right. Bye. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this one up. Whoops. That wasn't it.
Nope, still there.